Hey, IT Nation, Sean Lordo here again with another installment of the Wise Up podcast, where I'm joined with my phenomenal, bodacious co-host, Matt Hopper. Hey, Matt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How about you?
I am great. Hey, so for those that are watching for the first time, and well, for those that have been watching, thank you for watching. For those for the first time, know that what this podcast is really mostly about is bringing people from inside and outside the industry. It doesn't matter, to share their life story to a degree, but really their accomplishment, how they got there. So that way, people watching can hopefully pick up some nugget of wisdom from whatever. We tend to try to bring people on that have had some really good successes that are relatable to what everybody in our space, even though we're looking for outside the space, but people outside the space are typically looking to produce or looking to try to learn from. So, we've had a lot of great guests on so far. I don't even know how many episodes we've been into that recording, but there's been a lot now.
A lot. Just for more context, I have my Duncan today, so you can tell it's an afternoon episode recording.
That it is. So
Duncan, just reach out on LinkedIn about the sponsorship.
Yes. If you want to learn about anything about our events, you can literally just Google it about that. Everybody Googles IT Nation, you'll find us. But also you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find Matt on LinkedIn. If you want to talk about content, speaking at the engagements, sponsoring engagement, or just attending, you can contact either one of us and a slew of other people. So with that said, though, we have a good show coming up. We have a good guest on.
We do.
Yes. Actually, this show will be part of IT Nation Secure, and owning a track session with me.
Along with you, yeah.
And
you and our guest own the sales and marketing track, which means sometimes to my horror that you guys get to decide what goes in the sales and marketing track.
That's a great thing to say. What goes in it is important to know, because Michael, which he's coming on a second, is all about what goes in this, because he's good at this. Like, actually, when you came to me and said we need to do this, like we're going to do it this way, I had to make sure that I did. He was my first thought immediately, for obvious reasons, because first off, cybersecurity, he kind of likes it. He's pretty good at it. Also, he was able to, and this is like, I'm doing his intro now as we speak. So not only does he like cybersecurity, not only did he start his own company, not only did he grow his own company to a point where he was ultimately acquired by a much larger company, and he did this all grassroots organically. But he also, for me personally speaking, like favoritism in a way, is also that he's a U.S. Army veteran as well. So like we literally, and we did this all within the same years too. He looks better than I did, though. He was much younger, so I don't think we're the same age, but they're asked. I don't really want to know. But yeah, so I'm to say I'm excited is an understatement, but yes. Without further ado, why don't we just bring on the Senior Vice President, Managed Security Services, founder of Solution Granted at SonicWall, Michael Crean.
Yeah, that was quite the intro.
Yep. Like when I get ready to write my life story, Matt and Sean, you're like one of you is my ghostwriter. I mean, like you guys are gonna do it for me because you're amazing.
It's all from the heart.
Oh man, don't I appreciate you? Hey, Chef.
So first off, thanks for taking time to be on this, because I know you're busy.
Nice travel. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So where are you located right now in the world?
I'm sitting in my office because if this is a hotel room, this is like the coolest place on the planet. But no, I'm in my office in my house in Virginia today.
Nice. That is actually the coolest like hotel room ever. Like ever. All right. So, born and raised in Virginia?
No, born and raised in Ohio. And and here's my dumb joke about that. There's two types of people from Ohio, right? There's the incarcerated and the escaped convicts. I'm an escaped convict. That's it. Like seriously, all I could do is just want to get out of there as a kid. Like just wanted to leave, didn't want to be associated with it. Like had to shake the dirt of Ohio. And I'm a Cleveland Browns fan now. Like, so as much as I tried to get, I know.
That's not, you want to go to that conversation? Because there's Matt Popper. He's a Jets fan. We've had this conversation numerous times. And I don't know if you saw the on X, Myles Garrett was like, there's something about him wanting to be traded. He's like, I'm not going to a losing team. I'm going to go to a contender. And then a Browns fan that actually the name of their actual tag name is like something about only like Browns fan basically. And it says, we should trade him to the worst team in the NFL. And then someone just buzzed was like, you're the Cleveland Browns.
Jets.
You're the Cleveland
I
Browns.
figured they said the Jets.
No. But you're the Cleveland. Talk about out. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, so I don't mind it so much, but I don't even mind the Browns anymore. They're like Baltimore. Ooh.
Yeah, well, all Cleveland Browns fans have a problem with Baltimore.
Yeah, and the Steelers fans have a problem more. It's like, but they look good. Lamar Jackson looks good. I don't like that at all. I don't want to say that, but
Oh, yeah, he does. They've always been good since day one.
yeah, good, but not great. And they're right there now. I mean, they're like Travis Henry stays there. They win a Super Bowl, I feel like. Just saying. But enough of our demise. I'm sorry for being bad. Sorry for bad memories.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm more of a hockey fan to begin with. So right now I'm riding the high with the Capitals with Alex Ovechkin chasing these 10 and scores away from being the all-time scorer.
Yeah, he's like Gretzky. He just shoots the puck.
I think there's a little more to it than that, Sean, but okay, let's go ahead and go with that.
He just shoots the puck.
Yeah, he just shoots the puck.
Wherever he is on the ice, he just...
Oh, sorry. And he occasionally puts a hip or a knee into somebody. You're right. I stand corrected. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but really, I like to talk about, for me, because you and I've never had this conversation. How did you go from Army into cybersecurity, and then also become an entrepreneur? Like this journey, how did this all happen?
So I was getting out of the military. I'd spent 9 years. Thought what I was going to do was go be law enforcement. That's what I really wanted to do. These 3 retired Army colonels that owned the government contracting organization here in Washington, D.C. So my last duty assignment was in the D.C. area. So I was getting out in 1997. I'd gotten here in 1993. So, okay, well, lots of jobs here, lots of opportunity. And these 3 guys call me in for an interview. And it was kind of what do you know about computers? And literally, I knew much of nothing. I was just an idiot. I could turn it on and surf the web. How about that? Me and AOL, we got this. So they're asking me questions, didn't really know anything, but apparently my security clearance was worth more than I knew that it was worth. Made some comment of hey, here's how much money I would like to make. And there wasn't a 2-second pause. I don't even know if they took a moment to even blink. It was yeah, okay, we'll hire you. It's obviously I shot too low. I had no idea what my clearance was probably worth. Got a job as a government contractor, was doing some stuff, and got bored fast. I wanted to do more. I started to find that I liked this stuff. It's hey, this is cool. I can get into this. It's black and white. Go figure. Right and wrong. Shocker. And so wanted to do more, but as a government contractor, it's hey, do your job, stay in your cubicle, do this thing because we've got to facilitate this contract. And that didn't feel good to me. It's nope, I'm out, I'm leaving. I'm going to go out into the commercial space. I took over as an operations supervisor for a company called PSINet. They had a gigantic data center in Herndon, Virginia. They were looking for somebody to run kind of that, 2:00 in the afternoon till 10:00 at night shift, whatever that time was. And I didn't have enough experience. They wanted somebody who knew Unix. And then, of course, in my silly, kind of way of doing things, what do you know about Unix? I spelled it. It's that's it. That's what I know. I could spell it. It's well, we really need somebody. And I challenged them. And it was one thing, and Sean, you'll remember this. One thing in the military that I learned is that when I went in front of my first review board, I'm studying and you're trying to cram all this stuff for this promotion in front of you're just you're stressed out. You're trying to get there. And the first sergeant that I had at that point in time was Crean, you don't need to know everything. He's what you need to know is where you're going to get the answer for everything. And that changed my life. It literally changed my life. And it's things that I tell people all the time. It's look, stop trying to have the answers for everything. Say you don't know, but say you know where you'll go to get it. and call it out by name. Like I just had a conversation with our sales team today on that. It's like, look, if you're in a meeting and somebody is saying something and you don't know for sure, own it, be honest about it, be honorable. I don't know, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Corey Clark, or I'm going to talk to Jessica Ford, or I'm going to talk to Michael Crean. Humanize your response and call out the individual that you're going to go get, and just don't say, yeah, I think I know the guy. That doesn't instill confidence. Nobody wants to follow that. And that has been something. So I use that against them in this interview. Like, I made a joke about it. And then I said, I don't know a lot. I said, but I'll tell you what, if you give me 24 hours, I'll go pick up a book. I'll learn as much as I can about Unix in the next 24 hours. And I'll show you a learning curve that you'll never expect. And I don't know if I caught them on a good day. They were tired, whatever it was, but they took the challenge and they said, okay, come on back tomorrow. And I did. Like, I went and just read for like 20 hours. I needed to get a little sleep, and came back and just told them the history of Unix, told them commands, told them, all this stuff about it. And they gave me the job. So that kind of got me out into the commercial space. But then unbeknownst to myself, here comes the .com era. And so I found myself on unemployment for the first time in my life. So I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated. Like I had this great military career that I gave up, wanted to be back in doing it. I don't have a job. I've got kids, and I'm just mad at the world. And a friend of mine calls me and says, hey, I know you don't have a lot going on. He said, could you build some computers and design a network for us? I'm saying, yep, because I've got something I need to do, because the devil's playground runs pretty tight in these hands. And if I don't do something with them, they're going to do something with me. So I better get this figured out. One of the venture capital companies and this .com failure called saying, our full-time IT guys leaving. Would you come do this for us part-time? We don't want to hire another full-time guy. Like, yep, because I still need something to do. One of the guys that worked at the venture capital company calls, hey, I had a buddy of mine. It was this high-end textile cleaning company. He does like all of the McMansions in McLean, Virginia, and he just needs some advice. He doesn't know what to do. Sure, why not? I'll go give somebody advice. Like, they want to listen to me talk, I'll give them my 2 cents, and they'll kick me out and probably make me pay them $1. I mean, like, I don't know what it's going to be worth, but we're going to get there. We talk, we get there, and a couple hours later, they call me and said, hey, we'd like to hire you to do this. And it was about that time, I think I probably called my mom and I said, Mom, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'm running a company. I think that's what I'm like. And that was 24 years ago is when all of that started. So no comments about being old or anything like that, because yes, I am. But yeah. And, I've said this, and Sean, you and I have talked about this, and I've probably said this to other people, and there was a lot of, and it's been more recently that I don't say it anymore. I'd said that, my tenacity, my grit, my capability, my leadership really came from the military and what I learned there. And as I've thought about it and I've gotten a little bit older, what I really realized is, I did get a lot of stuff from there. Like, I learned the difference between life and death. I learned the difference between a good day and a bad day, where it's not, my air conditioning doesn't work. I learned some of those things. But what I really learned is it was my mom. And here's why. My mom worked for General Motors for 20 some odd years of her life. She started in like 1967 working in a factory assembly line, making electrical harnesses for cars. You know what it must have been like working in a factory in 1967? I'll bet you there's no air conditioning in there. Standing on your feet, doing the same repetitive thing over and over and over again. And why I say I'm now looking back at my mom never complained. Or if she did, I never heard it. She never did it in a way that my brother and I ever heard it. And so now I'm going to think about like what I get to do and how I get to do it and the lives I get to affect in this journey that I've been on. Like, yeah, all of these little things across the way have influenced me to, make me whatever it is that I am today. But man, my mom killed it. I couldn't do it. Like, I literally could not do that. And that's why I wanted to run away from Ohio. I didn't want to be stuck in a factory. I didn't want to do what my parents did. I didn't want to do what my grandparents did. I didn't want to do what my aunts and uncles did. Like, I had to get away. And I was running from the thing that now I look back on today and it's like, holy crap. You want to talk about power? You want to talk about strength? You want to talk about selfless sacrifice? You want to talk about leadership? Jeez, was that woman strong?
That's,
Damn.
I love that. I think it's important. I think the fact that you said she didn't complain,
If she said, I never heard it. I mean, like, look, you go on Reddit today and it's just the public airing of grievances of everything in the world that you can think of, but someone's going to complain about.
All social media.
Yeah, but like think about that. Like the things that we complain about today, like oh my car didn't start, oh I didn't get my meal delivered by Uber Eats at the time we said we were going to get it, or this didn't happen or that didn't happen. And who would want to stand in a factory doing that kind of work for 8 hours a day for 20 some odd years of their life?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's how you got into IT. How did you end up specializing in security specifically?
Oh man, I don't know why I feel like Sean told you this story, but maybe I didn't. I don't know.
I haven't heard it. Maybe he did. If he did, I said it.
Nope, I left this completely open for you, dude. That's all I did.
All right. So, back in that day, like go back 24 years ago, people are a VAR, right? We're all value added resellers, but there's this transformation that's kind of starting to happen where it's like and there was an article that said something about goodbye to the yellow brick road of VAR, becoming an MSP or something like that. There was around this idea of transforming and getting out of this break fix mentality, getting into these firm fix contracts, becoming a real managed service provider, like truly being that person, being that organization, being that man or that woman. It's like, all right, man, I got to become an MSP. And at the same time, I also had a government contracting side of the business that we were doing work for the US government, and I had full-time employees. So we're going down the road. I'm going to be an MSP, but I'm only doing it because I think that's what I have to do. Because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's saying. You've got to make this transition. I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't really feel purpose other than, well, if that's what I got to do, that's what I've got to do. So I'm going to do it. I was the worst MSP that ever lived. Like, I was not a nice person. I was ornery. I was cantankerous. I was mean. I was like, and all because I wasn't happy. Like, I was making money. I was living the life that I wanted. It was my free will. I chose to do this. And yet I was grumpy about it. And I think it really got to a point where somebody had called me on a Christmas Eve, and we used to take care of the executives in their homes, and they couldn't print. It's like 8:00 at night on Christmas Eve. And we're freaking out because we can't print. It's like, could we do something? Like, is it really that important? And of course, just like turn it off and turn it on again. And so the crappy bedside manner, and boy, I almost dropped like something I shouldn't have said. So I'm going to keep it clean for all of those that need me to. I'm like, so I go through the whole, are you sure there's paper in it? Are you sure you've got toner? And of course, the aggression comes out of it because I'm not saying it in a nice way. Probably the way I'm saying it right now, I'm being a little aggressive about it and maybe condescending a little. And of course, and so we go through some more troubleshooting sets and then really find out it was low on toner. And the question is like, well, is that really all the problem was? And I was like, no, that's probably not all. I said, do you still have the box that the printer came in? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, but I think maybe we should put it back in the box and send it back. So, well, why is it that bad? It's like, no, I'm just not sure that we're smart enough to use it anymore. So we need to take you back to paper and pen. So listen, I mean, my fault, like 100% my fault. I should have never said that. I should have never been to that point. But I was so frustrated for the life that I was living. And I was so angry that I was dealing with. There is such a thing as a stupid question. I'm sorry. That's not a true thing when people say there's no such thing as a stupid question. Yes, there are. So I kind of had to find a way to get out of this place because I wasn't good for me. I wasn't good for my kids. I wasn't good for my employees. I wasn't good for my business. Now, technically, I was getting it done. Like that was not my problem. But there's this whole other side of running a business and being nice to people that I wasn't being nice. So it all started with a newspaper, or it was a magazine article. I was getting my oil changed, and there was this full-page magazine article where I was getting done. It talked about SonicWall and this wireless capability that they had, and they had triple DES encryption. It's like, well, nobody's doing that. That's not possible. This is the days that we're using web encryption, and we all know how crappy that was. It's like, all right, well, I've got to buy my first SonicWall. So I buy my first SonicWall, and being the arrogant individual that I am, was like, I'm not going to read these instructions. I'm not going to go through the startup guide or anything. I'm like, I'm going to figure this out on my own. Like 7.5 hours later, I'm still trying to figure this stupid thing out. but I got it working. It's like, all right, I'm going to tear it down and do it again. And I'm going to tear it down and do it again and tear it down and do it again. And then decide, it's okay, this is cool. I can do some things. And the first thing that I did is went back to that very first client that I had built those computers and designed that network for and said, hey, wouldn't you like to be able to stop people from going to a porn site? Wouldn't you like to stop them from going to drugs or racism or intimate apparel and really making productivity what it should be and not have to be walking around and to see what they're doing or looking at their browsing history? How about we just put the stop to it and use it like a productivity tool? Well, yeah, I'd love to do that. I sold a firewall as a productivity tool, not as a security tool. It's like, wait, people will buy this. This is cool. So I kept telling that story and it started working. And it was around 2010 where I made a decision. It's like, hey, we're going to transform. We're going to become a firewall management and monitoring company. And we're going to standardize on SonicWall. Things were good. Things were great. Dell acquired SonicWall and things maybe weren't so good. And they weren't so great. And they might have gone sideways for a moment. But as angry and as frustrated as I was at that point in time where my whole world was changing and I had no control over the change because of the acquisition that took place, it did something for me. It caused me to change in a way that I may not have changed because I was comfortable with the success that I had. And so I took that opportunity to be in this uncomfortable spot and say, okay, I got you. I can't be loyal to you anymore because you're not being as loyal to me as it once was. So I'll become a Mimecast partner. And we started to broaden out. It's like, oh, this is working out really well. You're laughing. I can Mimecast in the day was great stuff, man. Come on.
I'm laughing because I'm seeing some of my own historic decisions in this story. I'm relating to it.
So we become a Mimecast partner. We start really finding that we could do something great with email security and stopping people. And at this time, it's really spam. It wasn't phishing or spear phishing at that time. It was all about the spam and the annoyance of spam and just the wasting that it took in their bandwidth and processing cycles. And then it was maybe 10 years ago. The endpoint space was just awful as far as I was concerned. Like, I didn't like Symantec. I didn't like McAfee. I didn't like Trend. I didn't like ESET. They were all just awful pieces of bleh. That you do the best you can, but it wasn't going to be good enough. And I didn't want to put my name behind any of it. And so it was more of we'll just do whatever we can and we'll just be okay with that. Cylance comes around. And it was like do you remember the Super Bowl commercial where IBM had the IBM Magic Pixie Dust, where you just go sprinkle the Magic Pixie Dust and it was a self-healing network and it just fixed things magically?
I do. Matt's younger than us.
Yeah, he's younger. Sorry, Matt. I didn't.
I don't think I remember.
It felt like that's what I was hearing the first time I heard about Cylance because it was all about AI and ML. And there was no signatures inside of antivirus. Like, this isn't possible. Like, what is this vaporware that they're selling? Like, who's going to buy this? Dug into it, started looking at it. And sure enough, Sean, you've met him. Matt, you haven't, but Corey Clark, who is our VP of Threat Operations, U.S. Marine, cool dude. Definitely call him my brother from another mother.
Oh my God, he's a late. Yes, I'm a fan.
He is. Like, if you want to know something about bourbon, Corey's the dude. Like, that man has got so much useless bourbon in. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say it's useless. I'm just gonna say he's got more bourbon information than anybody I've ever met.
Actually, he and I have long conversations about our useless bourbon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, Sean. Didn't mean to offend you on a Friday. Anyhow, so I say, hey, Corey, I'm gonna send you to Ohio. It's February. The weather's going to be fantastic and awesome and amazing. And you're going to go to this training in Cylance. And Corey is this semantic everything person. So when he's mad at me because I'm making him do this thing that he just completely disagrees with, and it's Ohio in February. So, double whammy. He goes kicking and screaming. He comes back. He's backstroking through the Kool-Aid of Cylance. It's amazing. It's awesome. And we start this managed next-gen AV business. And it explodes and it blows up. And we become the largest Cylance MSSP in the world. Like, in the world. Which is this dumb kid from Ohio that couldn't lie fast enough to his parents that his homework was done. And then he's just doing everything he can to run away from Ohio. And then he's a knuckle dragger in the military. And now here he is running this MSSP business, and you will become the biggest of something in the world. Like, that's insane to me. But it was just keep picking it up and putting it down and keep moving forward and keep trying every day and doing the right thing. And if you say it, then you mean it. And because you said it and you mean it, then you have to do it. You have no choice because you committed to it. And that's your word, because nobody can take that from you. Like, they can take everything else, your house, your money, your car, your everything. They just cannot take your word if you don't let them. So we kept on doing it. And it worked. Like, we started going out to conferences, we started showing up, we started telling our truth, we started and committed from day one when we started building our channel. Everything we did was a cost per seat per month with no annual commits and no minimums. Like, part of it was like, I don't like attorneys and I didn't like all the paperwork and the process that comes from behind it. So how can I just, get rid of that part of my life? Oh, we'll just do everything month to month. And if you don't like me and we suck at it, well, then leave. I'll make it easy for you. I'm not going to fight with you over a piece of paper. So we did it, and we kept growing, and we kept growing, and we kept growing. And then 2 years ago, and SonicWall came knocking, but probably for about a year prior to that, like, it was a couple times a week where it was like, hey, we're interested in acquisition. And then, like, I was the Heisman. Like, I was good at, like, delete, no thank you, answer. Don't reply, don't answer. This sounds interesting, but I'm not, I don't want to do it right now. Thanks, no thanks. And then it was probably about 6 months before SonicWall made their intent to acquire. I was like, hey, maybe I should stop being stupid and I should listen to what people have to say and at least educate myself. Look, I've never done heart surgery before, and I've also never been acquired before. So, like, I need to learn something about it before I decide that this is my exit one day. Not the heart surgery thing, trust me. You don't know what you're doing that.
Thank you for clarifying. Wondering which answer
just keeping it real. Just want to make sure everybody's tracking. I mean, it's mostly you, Sean. Just make sure you're with me. So
I'm always with you, Michael.
I know you are. Yeah, that's why I love you, dude. That's why I love you, man. So, I started becoming educated about the M&A process, started listening, started understanding. And, it was probably 10 years before this, somebody asked me what my exit strategy was going to be. Well, there was 2 conversations, actually. One, this amazing guy by the name of Lior Samuelson, who was ex-Israeli Special Forces, had come to the United States. He was the CEO of Coopers and Lybrand Securities and has started this venture capital company called Mercator Capital. And he asked me one day what I was going to do. And I told him, wouldn't it be cool if I could build this thing as a legacy and leave it to my children? And before I could even take a breath, he called me a dumbass. And I'm like, wait, you're doing this thing that you think you're making this legacy for your children. And he's like, you started this company with what? And I'm like, nothing. I'd lent in my pocket. And he says, if you build it to a place where somebody comes in with a truckload of cash, you run with it like you stole it. He said, this is not a legacy place that we live anymore. This is a mergers and acquisitions place that we live. And that stuck to me because, you're thinking this idea that I'll leave one of my kids something. Well, I'll leave them something, but it's not going to be the something that was the business. I'm going to secure their lives and their livelihoods and my grandchildren's livelihoods in a different way because of the strategy that got executed to be acquired. So it was that. And then it was, somebody had asked me, well, what does your exit strategy look like? And I very flippantly said one day, it's like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if SonicWall would acquire me. Just no thought that would ever be a possibility. Why would they want little old me and my little old business? And, here we are 15 months after acquisition, and it happened. And it was, there's not a lot of things in life that I will say are perfect, but this one for me was perfect. The culture that I wanted, the position that I wanted, the responsibility that I wanted. Like, I didn't want to run off into the sunset and not do anything again for the rest of my life. I wanted to grow it. I wanted to make it bigger. I wanted to make it better. I wanted to make it stronger. I wanted to be a part of something that I could go global, because we were North America. Well, now I'm in a global position, which is kind of cool. Like, it hasn't always been cool the amount of times that I've been in a tin can last year in the Mom and Miles. Like, it was kind of insane. amount of airline miles that I picked up for 1 year last year. But just going all over the planet, meeting MSPs, talking to them about their concerns, how we could really hear the challenges that they have and what we could do to help fix them. Like, I like fixing problems, and we are. And it feels good. It feels really good. I would,
That's all.
I think one thing that, and Sean, you've probably heard this, and Matt, I'm sure you've heard it too, is like a lot of people talk about, if I could just go back and change this one thing in my life. And I think the advice that I give everybody is like, man, you don't know the domino effect that creates by changing that one thing. And I've been and Sean, you've been through it too. Like, we've both been through some really crappy days in the military, in deployments. And while in the moment, I wish I didn't have to live through it, but I'm so thankful that I did, because I'm here today, and I would not go back and change a single thing. Because, man, I'd be all kinds of screwed up if we did.
Well, I think the military comment is spot on. Because I remember my first job after active duty, I wanted to be a corporate trainer somewhere. I wanted to be a trainer. That's what I wanted to be. So I went to McDonald's, and I went to a corporation. Like, we had to work at the restaurant first. So I had to be a McDonald's store manager. And it was like my first month I was working under like the GM of the store, learning the things. And he's all fired up, and he's like, drive-through times, drive-through. I'm like, he's like, oh my God, we're losing. I'm like, we serve hamburgers. Nobody's dying. Like, I am very much on board for, I believe there's a difference between having pride in your work and wanting to win, as opposed to you feel like you're losing everything. Like, there's a big difference in the two. And I told him, I was like, we're good. I mean, we make hamburgers for a living, like, just a lot of them. Like, we're good. But the way he had never experienced it, so he couldn't really recover the feeling and put himself back in focus. And yeah, it's just different. It's a different lifestyle altogether. But I'll tell you what, I agree with you. It equips you for all the bad days that you find aren't really that bad.
It really does. I think there's some countries out there where they make everybody serve in the military for a year, 2 years, whatever it is. And I don't know that I disagree with it. Like, that's a country. I mean, so it did so many, not everything that it did for me was good. Like, it did some bad things for me. And there was periods of time in my life where I was just a miserable human being after my time of service, because I just had to deal with some of my own problems and, some of those demons that I had to get rid of. But yeah, it really did. I mean, it prepared me for this phase of my life, to be a good corporate human being.
I would just go with a good leader, not a good corporate human being, but just a good leader. I don't think it has anything to do with corporate or small business or anything. Do you think? I don't know. I find myself still being a servant leader.
Yeah.
I think that's how I see you from everything I've seen you doing. And actually, I do want to dig into this for a minute too, because again, you grew a business, and the way I met you was on the road. Mm-hmm. Every month I saw you for years, doing, like, literally grinding it out as a business owner. And I think that's a message that most business owners should know. They should hear that. I think that, what made you do that in that manner? What made you put yourself in those shoes and go do the grind every month and for as long as you did?
Because I said I would, and my word is my bond. And, I was and even I look back, like, and even when it came to the point of acquisition, like, I was carrying so much ridiculous stress because I was not making a decision for me. It was not making a decision for my family. I was making a decision for all of my employees and all of their families. Like, when you take a moment to sit back and you really look at the rock that you throw out into the pond and those ripples that come away from it, and you are that rock, and how are you going to affect, it doesn't just come to the employees. It's the multiple of those employees and all of the people around them, and a parent that maybe has a concern, or, a mom or a dad, or, your kid is in college or whatever those things. I mean, it gets to the point where you're affecting hundreds of people's lives, well, livelihoods. We're not losing lives, but livelihood. And so for me, like, the only way I know how to be successful is grind. Like, I'll admit, like, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the prettiest, No comment, Sean. Like what I
disagree.
will tell you is, what I will say is, good luck trying to outwork me. Like, and that comes from I just watching my mom and my dad and all my aunts and uncles being factory workers. Like that's just hard work. And I don't like all of the education. Like there's so many reasons that education is so important. Like really, really important. But I'm gonna tell you, like in today's day and age, with all of the things that I've seen over the last decade, a hard worker is gonna win every time. You can be brilliant and lazy, and you're just gonna get beat by a dumb hard worker. My opinion. So
I would agree.
I know how to work hard, and that was my commitment to people. I would never give up, and I would continue to try.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's also, you say the word education. I think education comes with experience more than anything else.
I agree. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I hope that my lawyer has gone to school and has really, practiced their craft, and my doctor and my dentist, and I definitely would hope that, I don't want him cutting on me for the very first time. Like, I appreciate that 8 years in that residency and maybe a few surgeries before you've gotten to me.
Agreed. Agreed.
Is there anything that, say you're watching this and you're in business and you're kind of starting on this path? What advice would you give someone who is trying to get started? Maybe they don't necessarily have the background or innate work ethic that you do. What should they be doing? What should they be doing to try and get there?
Well, first, I don't know that there's an innate work ethic. I think that's a state of mind. Like, that whole, it's not, you've heard this in the military, if you don't mind, it don't matter. So I don't believe that there's such a thing as an innate work ethic. I mean, sure, we could probably argue the fact and say that there is, but if you decide to do it, there's nobody that stops you but you. And that's where failure kicks in. You fail when you stop. You don't fail when you make a mistake. My advice to people is don't give up and do something with purpose and passion. Don't be the MSP because everybody told you had to be the MSP and then you're miserable to everybody around you. If you want to be somebody who develops code, well, then just be the best damn coder you could be. If you want to be a cybersecurity person, man, get yourself in the dark room, put your hoodie on and get at it. Like truly embrace that person. But that's anything. Like, you want to be a bus driver, then just be the best bus driver. You want to be whatever it is, you know, sometimes the happiest people, and I think most of the time, the happiest people are the people that do the thing that they love. I mean, I don't remember exactly what the comment is, but like, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life or something like that. And after all of those years of hating the thing that I was doing, I found something that I loved. I found that I loved protecting people from things that they couldn't protect themselves from and making a difference in people's lives and keeping their dollars in their pockets and keeping their livelihood safe. I felt like I had purpose, just like I was back in the military making a difference. And that's what changed my world.
That's great.
And I think that's what changes anybody's world, in my opinion.
It does. I think I want to go back to, even though now military, cyber guy, nothing that you did. Well, for those that me being in the military, this is totally contradicting this. But people that are never in the military don't realize this. But what prepared you to go on stage? What prepared you to get out there and start doing this? Because one thing that we typically see in our space is the inability to go on stage and actually resonate a message. So how did you get there? Now, again, in the military, we learn how to sound off. There's a difference. But people that aren't in the military don't know we do that.
I mean, look, I did not want to be noticed. I wanted to be recognized. I wanted people to hear that I had something to provide to them that they thought, what I thought they needed. And the only way that I could find to do it was to get on stage and tell a story. I think that's another one. And Sean, you and I see this a lot because, man, you and I spend a lot of time at conferences. It doesn't need to be a sales pitch. It doesn't need to be death by PowerPoint. Like, look, if you want to put 27 words on a PowerPoint slide, don't read it to me. I can read, I can see those words. Like, tell me something more than just telling me the words, and don't take me through a product demo when you're on live stage. Like, connect with me in a way that I want to be connected with. You have to know your audience. You have to know what people want. You have to take time to listen. Like, Bob Van Kirk is the CEO at SonicWall, and I've known him for a long time as he was the CRO, and now he's in the CEO position. And his dad was this small town doctor. And his dad said, "You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them proportionately." And what a simple, profound, powerful statement. Like, think about that. If we listen more and talk less, where do we get with that? And that's what I was doing. I kept listening to what people were saying. And I'm also a bit of a clown. Like, I like telling a joke. I like trying to be funny. I like to try to give people something to remember me by. And that helped in this journey. Like, it helped a lot.
Oh yeah, no, well, and I would say this: it's always the same. I'm glad that we've always been at conference together, because nothing better than we both win an award each time we speak, and being memorable is yelling across the room at each other in celebration, or just in naysaying in general, just to be fun, because you put a lot of work into it. And I mean, you've won a lot more than I have, because you have just really dominated the circuit somehow. I think it's probably because of Corey, but
I would like to say it's my magnetic personality and charming good looks, but that's probably debatable.
Part of it, maybe, but not by much. Like, I can see it.
Yeah, so Matt, your question's really good. And I don't think we spend enough time talking about that. We don't spend enough time talking about finding your passion, being purposeful in the things that you're doing. And, part of one of my, and I think one thing that drives me back to this is I can remember, having my daughters and going to work. And some days you get the bear and some days the bear gets you. That's what my dad told me. And it's true. Some days in business, like, you don't make money. There are times in business to do the right thing. You've got to tell somebody, cool, I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to charge you for this. I'm going to eat this one today, because that's the right thing to do. But what could I do? I could come home. I could be beat down. I could be worn out. I can be stressed out. I can be overworked, overtaxed, over everything. But I can at least come home and look at my daughters and say, I did it right today. I didn't make any money. It was a bad day for that, but I did it right. And I feel good about it. And when I close my eyes and go to sleep tonight, there will be no demons to come calling because I did something I shouldn't have done.
Love it. And I think the original, like the very first sentence you gave in your answer, is something everyone needs to hear, right? The part about there is no necessarily an innate work ethic. You can wake up tomorrow and decide, I'm going to go from, slacker to hard worker. And it's just a mindset. That's an important part too. I think some people think they're just born that way and stuck that way.
Oh, I was in that place. And I don't know that every CEO goes through this, but there was a point in time where I'll tell you, I was a lifestyle CEO. I was making money. I was happy. I was driving the car that I wanted. I had the home that I wanted. I didn't really want or need for anything. And I found myself getting complacent and lazy. And it changed because I woke up one day and it's like, no, this is not who you are. You're not this. You're the go-getter. You're the go kick in the door. Go get this done. Step through every place that you can and make something of this that you can, because you've got the ability to do it. So why are you doing it this way? Now, for those people that get to that place that have done their 20, 30, 40 years and they want to be a lifestyle CEO and ride this thing into the sunset, there's nothing wrong with that. But to your point, there's nothing that stops you from doing it if you decide you want to do it. I truly believe that.
I appreciate that more than anything. I find that it's almost like getting up on the high dive. All that anxiety, getting up on top of the dive board, and you have to look down. You're like, oh my God. Like, you ever do like the platform jump? Yeah, that's like high. All those steps, all that, you're going up that ladder, and it's like forever. You make a decision to jump. I prefer to be uncomfortable, to be excited and thrilled and try something. And I think
it's the white knuckle death grip, Sean. Hold on. Here we go. Hey, I'll hold my beer. It's going to be a ride.
That was when I went airborne, man. I had no idea. You know, again, from Ohio, from Pittsburgh, there's not a huge military population in Pittsburgh at all. I didn't know anything about airborne. There was no internet then, so I remember I was down at Fort Bragg, 19th replacement, and we were staying in the World War II barracks. Of course, and of course they leak, so it's raining and it's leaking, and then we go to this briefing, and I'm still in processing, and two guys, they got their Class A's on, tucked into their jump boots, looking great, their beret, and they're like doing their briefing in front of us, like, who wants to be better than God? I'm like, I just want to touch my pants up. I love true. Cool. Like, it's like, I want a beret. That's like Rambo stuff. I'm like, and next thing you know, heading out of Fort Benning. And yeah, then you get scared. Then you realize what you signed on for. And you can make a whole extra $150. Oh, yes. Right.
You'd need that hazardous duty pay. That's right.
People don't realize didn't take much to catch me. I was like, yep, I'll go. And so, Fort Benning, they're like, yep. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then the one nice thing about the military is all the old timers tell you all the horror stories that they make up so that you have to be scared until you actually go and jump. And all the riggers, they're the worst people ever. Let's be clear. Parachute riggers are the worst people ever. Because they
especially when you pull that card out and it's signed by Ronald Reagan. It's like, maybe you got a problem. I know Ronald Reagan didn't pack this chute.
So, Matt, what you don't understand, based on we should provide some insight here. So, there's actual people. Their job is to rig parachutes for a living in the military.
Okay.
And when you look at them, they look like the people you would never hire to do anything for some reason. They're real squared away, but they force themselves to look horrible. So you look at them and think, oh my God, this guy can't even tie his shoes. Like, it's by Hidar. They want you to be afraid, and they mess with everything because you're about to go up in the bird and you're going to use the parachute that they packed for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they all tell you the other one's the worst packer. Oh, you got him. I'm sorry. He's bad.
Right.
And then, like, one thing you see on military installations, you see, like, how many days since the last fatality, right? Well, riggers never have a day. It's always 0. Every time you go, it's always 0. So you literally, and I think it's very sadistic. So yeah, that's life.
Got it. Say no more.
Which I also think that equips you for being in cybersecurity.
It's be ready for constant misery.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it doesn't have to be. And so, I think one of the things we were talking about is like, what kind of advice do you give to people? And I think one thing that I find sad about this industry, and not cybersecurity, just IT service professionals in general, it's definitely become a not me game. There's so much nose goes that's happening. Like, we did that, not me. There's like, somebody did it. And the problem is that we don't act like a team sport. And this is a team sport at the end of the day. Like, look, the MSP can go to the client and say, you have to do A, B, and C so we can get it. And if the client doesn't agree, then they put the MSP at risk because the bad day is going to come and they're not going to care what they didn't do or what they didn't agree to. They're going to say, it's your fault. Fix it. The MSP is going to go to the MSSP, SOC as a service, whomever, and say, hey, you let that event in, fix it. The MSSP, SOC as a service, whatever, is going to go to the manufacturer of the next gen AV, the EDR, the SIM, the whatever, and say, well, you wrote the bad code, fix it. And so we've got this, we're all chasing our tail and we're all pointing our finger at everybody else. At the end of the day, you look at the greatest of all times. You look at the Michael Jordans, you look at the Wayne Gretzky's, the Alex Ovechkins, you look at the Tom Brady's, you look at the whatever it is in any team sport, and you cannot say that that man or that woman did it all on their own, or that man or that woman didn't do it all on their own. Like the Chicago Bulls, it was a lot of powerful people on that team when Michael Jordan was there. Same thing with Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of supporting characters in that organization that made it work. LeBron James, whatever you want to say, like it didn't happen alone. And yet we in this industry are playing this not me alone game. We're not a family. We're not treating each other with respect and kindness and gratitude. And we have to start, because the threat actors, like, look, my son has been playing hockey for 7 years. In the first several years, he was a goalie. As a goalie, the expectation, maybe not reasonable, you have to be perfect, because when you're not perfect, they score. As an offensive person, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to get lucky once, maybe twice. Or if you're Alex Ovechkin, 880, whatever he's at, you know, but that's one thing that I wish we could change in this industry, and we could all start doing it better. Treat me like your family. You don't always like your family, and you're not always going to like me. But at the end of the day, we're all here to do this thing together. And if we fail together, what did we do? We learned. And if we won together, then we won. Either way, we're winning. It doesn't have to be winning and losing. It can be winning and learning. But we really have to start participating and treating each other much better than we are. Okay, I'm coming off my soapbox now. Sorry.
No, it's good. In fact, it's a perfect segue to the next thing we're going to ask. So we're almost out of time, but we always end the show by asking one particular question. And question is, and I think we've answered it in a couple ways, so I'm going to challenge you to come up with something that hasn't been said yet. If you could give one piece of advice in the form of a habit to our audience, something that they should either establish or break, what would it be? What should they start doing or stop doing?
Make yourself uncomfortable and find happiness in that uncomfort.
Nobody said that.
I like it.
I mean, think about like how easy is life when you're comfortable? Like, I mean, you watch, like, I think about me as a kid and then school. Like, there were certain classes that I crushed because they were easy. It was just easy. I didn't try. But the classes that were hard, well, I was a really bad student. And so I just ignored them, and I was just in more trouble with my parents. But if you take that place of being uncomfortable and you embrace it, embrace the suck and own it, make it yours, and live in that uncomfortable space, how amazing do you think we can just do some of the most ridiculous things? Like jumping out of a plane. Like, my parents thought I was absolutely crazy because I was petrified of heights as a kid. And here I go, I'm joining the military. Yeah, I'm going to go jump out of planes. Who are you? Like, you don't do that. You're afraid of heights. You won't even walk up the stairs and look over the ledge. Your statement, like, I was petrified of heights as a kid. Yeah, so go to that uncomfortable place and own it and just be all about it, and then watch how crazy success can come with you. If somebody didn't give it to you, you earned it.
I think that's the part. Earned it, not given.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of it. And yeah, I was afraid every time I jumped at the bird, so it doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody says. I was afraid every time.
I had quite a few water jumps. There's a lot of fear going on there. Yeah.
A lot of fear going on. That, and yeah, there's other things. Anyway, so with that said, yes, as Matt said, we're going to wrap this up. Again, Michael, thank you so much, man. This is really good conversation. I'm assuming we'll be seeing you around everywhere still anyway, because you still have time with SonicWall. And we probably have another conversation we had down the road after your acquisition contract is up, because everybody has a contract. And so I'd like to see where you end up, where that future takes you. I think I'll be very interested in. We'll have to catch up on that too.
There's a lot of conversations going around about that, but I will tell you that I am surprisingly happy where I am right now. I love my job. I love the people I'm doing it with. And I am so incredibly lucky that my acquisition turned out the way it did. I'm very thankful.
Good. Well, that's really good to hear. So I guess you'll be around for a lot longer. Great. That's good, because I like seeing these places. So enough of that. All right. So as mentioned, for everybody who watched, this will be that we recorded this. Obviously, it's not live, so it'll be up on part of our series on our YouTube channel, right, and everywhere else. Other than that, Matt, anything else we need to add to this before we sign off?
No, Michael, thanks for coming on. Fantastic conversation, good advice, and I think everyone listening or watching can get something out of this.
Absolutely. All right, well, until the next time, peace out, Girl Scout.